Sometimes the culture changes and it moves away from our strengths or it moves into our strengths. I hear a lot of talk about Tom Brady retiring. Yeah, it's going to happen, right? He's getting older, and I get it, and rings, titles. But I want you to think about this. There was a talk show host, still is, named Stephen Colbert. He was dying at CBS, bombing. They were going to pull him off the air. He'd been on about 6 to 8 months. The show ratings were in the tank. He was too old and political. That was the knock on his show. Then Trump got to the White House, and the American culture changed. And it moved right into Stephen Colbert's wheelhouse. The American heroes in football for so many years were guys like Joe Namath and Terry Bradshaw, Brett Favre, gunslingers who made big mistakes but had powerful arms. The sport of football has moved toward Tom Brady and, for that matter, Drew Brees. It is now a 3-step drop. Get it out quick. Bubble screens, accuracy, precision. The culture of football is moving toward them. Arms, wildly overrated. Brees no longer throws downfield. Tom Brady doesn't have a deep threat. But defensive lines can't get to Brady, and they can't get to Brees because it's a 3-step and get-it-out league. It's lengthening Tom's career. I watched that game against the Chargers. Forget the Kansas City game. Are you kidding me? He took it apart. It wasn't competitive. It was 35-7 at half. And I sat on the couch and I thought, why in God's name in the new NFL would he retire? Professionally, sometimes it all moves away from you. And sometimes it all moves toward you. It's moved toward Tom. He's not retiring. For the best high-tasting quality meat, unbeatable price, butcherbox.com/herd, sockeye salmon. They'll give you 2 pounds of it for free, plus $20 out of your first box, butcherbox.com/HERD. I use it. I eat it. It's great. Great to have you in today. Joy Taylor joining us in 45 minutes from now, where Colin was right, where Colin was wrong. Peter King next hour as well. We are packed today. It is great to have you in. Very excited for the Super Bowl. I was driving in this morning, and the Anthony Davis story broke. So I'd like to address it again on a different front. Anthony Davis signed with Rich Paul Clutch Sports September, LeBron's group. Check. Next thing he had to do was announce, I want out of New Orleans. He did that apparently yesterday. Check. And now let's have the Lakers getting this deal done, which my takeaway is they want to get it done before the end of the year because Boston can't make a move now because of certain things the NBA doesn't allow with trades. So I think the Lakers will probably overpay a little now to get it done, which in the long terms, you want everything you have to acquire a third player after LeBron and Anthony Davis because according to reports, Kyle Kuzma has to be part of the deal for the Pelicans to like it, and Kuzma's a good player. So you're going to have to get the next Kuzma if you give him away. Let me say this, though. People know I like LeBron, and I've defended LeBron. But I also think it's obvious he's not the easiest guy in the world on coaches. He wanted Eric Spoelstra out. Pat Riley said, no, we're not. He wanted David Blatt out. They got rid of him. And now, according to various reports, Jackie McMullen, who is as respected as any NBA beat writer ever. Jackie's been covering this league for 4 decades. She's great. Came out over the weekend and said there is tension in the Lakers building. There's a lot of tension. Quote, I think people are wondering about Luke, even though Jeannie Buss, the owner, came out strongly and said, I want Luke to be here. It's clear that LeBron's camp would prefer a coaching change, and they're not too subtle about it. That's Jackie McMullen, and if she talks, she's right. She's as good as they get in this business. So let me just ask you this. Is it reasonable for me to say, I think there's a little panic here? Wasn't this the year the Lakers were going to, quote, figure it out with LeBron? Take a look at the assets. Win 45. I predicted 48 wins. Certainly not beat the Warriors. Building blocks. I remember Luke Walton saying, we've got LeBron for 4 years. That certainly sounds like patience to me. And the Lakers were counting on 2 things to be true throughout the course of this year. LeBron would still easily be the best player in the year in the NBA. I don't know. He's not playing. And the second thing was people will want to play with LeBron. Well, Kawhi Leonard reportedly does not want to play with LeBron, and Paul George chose Russell Westbrook over LeBron, and Kevin Durant and LeBron has been roundly mocked by people who are close to it. And LeBron's hurt, and everybody wants to play with him. A little bit of panic. I'm reading Jackie McMullen. There's tension in the building. Luke and LeBron are strained. The young assets, Lonzo Ball, hurt again. Brandon Ingram, just a guy. LeBron, worst injury of his career. I'm not saying it's utter panic, complete chaos, but there were a lot of things before LeBron got to Los Angeles, and then the minute he did that we consider to be givens. He would right now be playing, averaging 28, and be the best player easily in the world. Hasn't played in a month and is not scheduled to play the next game either. And frankly, lots of players, according to various NBA executives, people, scouts, don't all want to play with LeBron. He is now going to be 35, coming off the worst injury of his career. I mean, I listened. I thought this was the year you kind of sat back. You won 45, 50 games. You end up third in the West. You win a playoff series, but you're not going to beat the Warriors. What you don't want to do is freak out.
It's easier said than done, though. It's Los Angeles. It's the Lakers. It's LeBron. A lot of pressure, even in a year that there's no expectations.
This is the entertainment capital of America. Everybody moves to L.A. in the entertainment field. Actors, writers, athletes, producers, directors, film stars, TV stars, and they think they're going to live in Beverly Hills. And they end up mostly living in Venice or moving to Scottsdale. It's not easy here. There's a lot of things you got to deal with. And this move has not worked as precisely and exactly as it should have. Lonzo Ball is hurt again. Brandon Ingram is just a guy. And if I'm the Pelicans, by the way, this morning, you think I'm going to do the Lakers a favor? Really? If I'm the Pelicans this morning, I'm pissed. Because LeBron's group, Rich Paul's group, signed Anthony Davis, knowing this was going to happen. I'm going to do LeBron or anybody associated with LeBron a solid. If I'm the Pelicans, I can understand them being bitter, empowered. We're not making any move until the Celtics have the resources and the ability to give us some of their assets. I'm just saying. I'm not saying utter panic. It hasn't quite worked out like we thought. Here's Joy with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
Yeah, Los Angeles is a little different than Cleveland.
You can't control everybody the way, like, by the way, when LeBron went to Miami, Pat Riley's like, no.
Yeah, Miami's a little different than Cleveland.
Miami's like,
and
no.
LA is a whole nother
Yeah, so I mean, in Cleveland,
category.
you can just tell the owner and the GM I want it because they don't have the power and the history. But he went down to Miami, and Pat Riley's like, no. Eric Spoelstra's our coach. You're going to have to deal with it. And LeBron didn't like it.
Well, I wonder if he does end up winning a championship here, if that tune of the Cleveland championship was the most important one will still be sung after all this. So Nickeil Roby-Coleman seems to feel a little invincible right now. He wasn't called for the pass interference in the NFC Championship game, the call or non-call that everyone is still talking about.
Yeah.
He continues to give Tom Brady and the Patriots a lot of bulletin board material to work with. He told Bleacher Report, age has definitely taken a toll. He's definitely not the same quarterback he was. He can still sling it, but he's not slinging it as much. And sometimes it's not the sharpest. Stick a dagger in them, pull it out, and let them leak slow. You just kill them slowly. That's how you do them.
Oh, great.
He then said the Rams can get to Brady, quote, all over the place, which is quite an interesting statement considering that Brady's pretty much been untouched the entire postseason.
I mean, this is playing right into New England's hands, right?
I honestly don't get it. It's maybe it's just Sean McVay just letting his guys be who they are. But I mean, there's just a couple rules when it comes to playing the Patriots in big games. One, make sure that you actually do touch Tom Brady. You have to make him uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Two, assume that Belichick is going to take away your biggest weapon offensively. Three, don't give them bulletin board material.
Yeah, let's go. Those are the big three.
should just write a book.
You should write a book called The Three
How
Things
to Beat the Patriots.
Make Tom uncomfortable.
Right.
They are going to take away your best weapon, so have an ulterior plan.
Yes.
And don't talk trash.
Yes. And then also hope that Saban wins the championship that year because there's some weird correlation.
Yeah.
So we might be in bad shape there. All right, so speaking of Brady, he said he wants to play until he's 45, and winning another ring in his 9th trip to the Super Bowl at 41 wouldn't do anything to change that because in his own words, here's the chance that Brady retires after Super Bowl 53.
Zero.
Say it. I don't want to just say
There's zero. Yeah,
Okay.
There's zero. I've said that for a long time. I feel like I'm asked that a lot, and I feel like I repeat the same answer. I'm going to know. I'm going to know when the time's right, and I'm going to feel like, okay, I've kind of had enough. I don't quite feel like that yet. I feel like, I've still made a lot of improvements, and I still feel like I can continue to do it at a championship level. And I think that's, where I was at before, and that's still where I'm at now.
I don't even know why we're in the media, right? Like, I get fans saying stuff, but in the media, there's a certain responsibility. Not that we have to be 100% accurate, but fans look to us, I think, sometimes for context to put out fires.
Right.
Like, saying Tom's going to retire after watching him against the Chiefs and the Chargers is just irresponsible.
Well,
he's just...
it's not. I don't think anyone's saying he's going to retire, but if he wins this Super Bowl, there's something to the idea of walking out on top, of not having to see the deterioration of a superstar, of not having to see them, walk off a cliff, just as far as their skills and talent goes, because that's generally how it is. It's a quick drop.
But we're not close there.
No, we're not close, but maybe there's a feeling in him, or maybe we're all just wishing that this would end so we could talk about something different. I don't know what it is. I had no even thought about Tom Brady retiring. I've given up on that.
Yeah.
Years ago, I gave up. Like, he's going to retire when he says he's going to retire. I don't understand this wishing and hoping for Tom Brady to retire. He's shown what is this age you're talking about?
I'll say it again. I watched Drew Brees this year, and I saw fatigue with Drew Brees. When I watched Brady, I thought his best game of the year was against the Chargers. So he was at his best late in the year when an experienced older athlete usually gets tired. I thought Drew at the end of the year looked a little tired. I thought Peyton Manning at the end of his career looked better in September than October, November. I thought Peyton Manning looked tired.
And also just in general, guys, all athletes are playing later now. There's more advanced training methods and rehab methods, and guys are investing in their bodies more and eating right. Like, it's not so far-fetched that they're going to play that late and be able to perform at a high level.
41's the new 36.
Yeah.
Just is.
Finally, the Pro Bowl may soon move again. Yesterday was the 3rd straight year Orlando was the host of the Pro Bowl, but the turnout was just as bad as the weather. And according to the Orlando Sentinel, there's a chance that it could take place elsewhere next season. The report suggests the next 2 Pro Bowls can be played at the sites of the next 2 Super Bowls, which would be Miami and Tampa. I don't understand why they don't have the Pro Bowl at the site of the Super Bowl.
What was wrong with Hawaii?
I don't know exactly why they moved it from Hawaii. Maybe they just wanted to make it more accessible to fans, so Orlando was a better place.
Every player I've ever talked to is like, oh, I always loved my week vacation in Hawaii.
Yeah, no, for players it was great. You bring your family, you get away. There's not a whole lot of responsibility. There's probably more fan responsibility in Orlando because there's more access. More people are, in theory, are going to come. So Hawaii was kind of like an elite thing to go to.
Do you know Hawaii? It was Hawaii and Vegas were the highest rated NFL markets that didn't have a team. Like, to me, it was working. Like, giving Hawaii the game made it, Honolulu is the highest rated major city in America that didn't have an NFL team. It was either Honolulu or Vegas. Now Vegas will have a team. I always thought it really created a kind of a unique market. If you go to Hawaii, they are pouring Mai Tais at 6 in the morning because those games start at like 6 or 7 in the morning.
Right.
It is a huge island tradition. I don't know why they butchered it. Players loved it, and the island loved it, and it paid off.
I don't know. There had to have been some, I'm sure, money logic behind moving it.
Yeah.
But I think they should just have it wherever the Super Bowl is if you're not going to have it in Hawaii.
Joy with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Line.
Well, we get him in-house this week. He played for a decade in the NFL, a multiple-time Pro Bowler. He has a Super Bowl trophy. Just one, but it's a big fat one. In his house in Minnesota. It's Greg Jennings. Well, we know, come in studio to lie. So nice to have you here.
I'm
know, man. It feels like I haven't been here in a while.
I know you've been wearing sweaters in Minneapolis. For the record, I figured that Saints blown call thing would blow over in about 48 hours. We got lawsuits and billboards. And what do you make of the fact that New Orleans, they're trying to hijack the Super Bowl?
I don't think they're trying to hijack the Super Bowl, but they feel like they should be there, and rightfully so. I mean, you're not going to get over something that you've prepared for, you've worked so hard to get to, and it's in their minds what they have to really overcome is, or really get over, is the fact that the refs didn't just take this game from you. You lost this game too. Like, you still had opportunities to win. You stopped them. You denied them the opportunity to go down and score or put up points. You still win. You didn't do that.
This was not the final play of the game.
This was not the final play of the game. So it's a team sport for a reason, and controversy is a part